And happy Thursday. Sorry. Weird messages popping up on Facebook there. So I hope everyone can see me. So welcome. Happy Thursday. If you're just joining, if you see the live sign up in the corner, you're watching me live. So welcome. If you don't see the live sign, then you are watching the replay on either my Facebook page or my YouTube page. So welcome. My name is Dana Mosley. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Phoenix, Arizona. If you're watching live or watching on replay, let me know you're there. Say hi, leave me a thumbs up, leave me a heart, let me know you're there. Love to see who's watching. So some brief messages, announcements, and then we'll have a little playtime. So first off, we started the new catalog. What has it been, like a week? A week, I guess, a little over a week. Maybe it's been a week and a half. I've lost track of time. So new catalog. If you did not get your catalog, let me know. I still have catalogs left I can get for you. It's a really great catalog, and I want to kind of walk through it a little bit tonight. I know that wasn't planned, but I was kind of looking at what I'm going to be doing tonight, and I'm like, you know what? Let's kind of go through the catalog a little bit. Very brief, though, very brief. So, and then don't forget online exclusives. We always have online exclusives, new ones, like every other month. As a demonstrator, I will get to order starting next Tuesday for the July online exclusives, and there will be Christmas stuff. Can you believe it? We will have Christmas in July. Yeah, so I am planning a Christmas in July class, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, can you believe, like, we're already looking to July, halfway through the year already. It just started. I don't know what happened to it. So, oh my gosh, time is just flying by. Hey Mom, glad you could join. Also, we had 2 new kits that came out. I kind of showed you one of them last week. I have the pictures here. So there's the Serene Scenes. It has, like, you know, a little scenery. They're kind of, I guess, geared towards the men a little bit. And then there was the Pretty Party Kit. It was like birthday, and I kind of opened that one up and showed you. Well, I made the cards the other day because they're just really gosh darn cute. They're really pretty. So here's one of them, and I just follow the directions as is, but these are like popped up a little bit. I don't know if you can see that dimension there. Lots of dimensionals, a whole sheet of dimensionals in that kit, and all that gold on there. Hey Carol, glad you could join. So that was number 1, and then this was another one, and this big balloon right here is popped up. I don't know if you can see that. So cute. Very easy cards. These came together in no time. And then this is card number 3. It's supposed to be like balloons or circles or something, and some of these little circle pieces are popped up here. So very easy to put together. So you got 3 different cards and 3 of each, so 9 cards total. And this kit came together in no time. Really nice little stamp set that came with it. There was a little stamp with balloons on it that you're supposed to put on the envelope, and I forgot to do that. So, but good kit. I really liked it. So I might order another one. It's great for birthday cards. Great. We also had a new product of the month. So when your order reaches $75, you can purchase the product of the month for just $5, and that was that botanical vellum. Really pretty. I showed you that last week. I've seen a couple demonstrators making some projects with it, so I can't wait to work with it. I seem to be running out of time because I can't believe that the month is halfway over already. I don't know where the time is going. Also, there's a new craft class that you can purchase. It's an online class. Once you purchase the class, there's like a product number, like you're going to purchase something, but you're actually purchasing the class. and you'll get invited to a Facebook group. They're using the Paper Medley Mix-In Designer Series paper, and it's the class is May 21st at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So you purchase the class online, just like you're purchasing product, and then you get invited to a Facebook group, and then you can watch live, or you can go back and watch the replays. They give you a list of all the supplies that you would need if you want to make the cards. You don't have to purchase this stuff if you don't want to, or you can just watch, whatever the case may be. So it just gives you some really good ideas on some projects. And I can't remember what they're doing. I know cards and a project and probably a scrapbook page, but I don't know how many cards that they were doing. And then the starter kit promotion. So we have actually 2 options this month. You can purchase the starter kit, the normal $99, and $99 you get $125 of product, and then you'll also get all 5 of the new in color stamp pads. Or if you don't want the stamp pads, you can opt in to get an extra $35 in product. So it's a really good deal, especially if you want these stamp pads. These are awesome. Hey Sherry Joe, glad you could pop in. I love these stamp pads. I think I kind of showed them to you, but look, they're magnetic. They come apart really easy, close up real easy. Awesome. I can't wait until all the stamp pads are like that. But that won't be for another year. So starter kit option again, $99. You get $125 in product plus the 5 in color stamp pads, or $125 in product plus another $35 for only $99, free shipping. So it's up to you what you choose on that starter kit option. So so I think that's it for announcements. Pretty short and sweet. Yeah, so I was playing with product the other day, and I remembered I bought this embossing folder, and I almost didn't see it in the catalog. So that made me want to kind of show you a little bit of the catalog, and then I started playing with it, and then I got out the watercolor pen, and so I was just playing away. So we're just going to have kind of a little playtime today. So I'm going to point you down, and we'll get started. Hold on. All right. So flip you around there. There we go. I think we're good. Whew. Okay. All right. Let me get you on my screen. Get you going here. Oh, not that one. All right. So, new catalog. The past, month or so, I've been talking about the catalog, and I haven't been able to show you the inside of it until it went live. So it is now live, so I can show you a little bit about the catalog, what's inside. I'm just going to go through really quick. My intention was not to do a walkthrough, but I did want to point out like a few things that are in there, and I think this catalog is actually a really good one. So, we have just some basic, things in the front, a message from Sarah, and then a couple other little kind of advertisements for some of our things that we've got, like Paper Pumpkin, Product of the Month. And then we get into the catalog. They talk about, step-by-step, kits, scrapbooking, being, simple, or you can be as complex as you want. So this is just basic, like if you want to be simple, like what things that you would need if you just want some simple stamping, just some real basic things. And then we get into our suites. So we have quite a few suites. This first one here is the Bloom Boutique. And I made a note here. So they are, since we're going to have 3 catalogs a year now, they don't want people to think, oh, well, 3 catalogs, every time a catalog goes, everything goes. Well, it's not going to be the case. Things will go into online exclusives. They may carry over into the next catalog, but they have chosen a few things that will stay around for a whole year. So this is one of them, the Bloom Boutique Suite. There's paper, there's 2 stamp sets with dies, there are the in color butterfly little embellishments, there's some boxes. So this suite will be around for a whole year. And on the next page is the matching scrapbook items. So there is a whole nother stamp set and dies. There are 2-tone cardstock packs that match, and then there is the scrapbooking. Well, this is actually the paper with a sticker sheet, and then this is a scrapbooking workshop. So the scrapbooking workshops are really awesome, by the way. There is so much stuff in those, and they're step by step. They show you how to do everything so that you can get your pages to look exactly like this, or you can do whatever you want with it. Then we have the Waterside Retreat Suite. Again, stamp set dies. We have paper and some embellishments. This is a really cute set. I've seen the embellishments. They're super cute. This is like bigger than real life. They're small, but they're super cute. Valley in Bloom. So this is where that 3D embossing folder is that I'm going to use tonight. I almost missed this embossing folder, but I've seen some other demonstrators using it, so I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get that. I did not get this whole suite. I just got the embossing folder and the embellishments, the dots, but there are some, this Luxe White Specialty Designer Series paper. I've seen it in person at conventions. Really pretty, and then the paper too is very pretty and colorful. And then there is a scrapbooking workshop to go with it. The Scenic Coast. This paper is only 6x6. This is the only 6x6 paper we have this time around. This paper is beautiful. It's shimmery, and it just has all these wonderful sceneries on it. It's beautiful paper. Beautiful Ordinary Life. This is a fun suite of products. Stamp set and dies, paper, embellishments. There's these little floral accent pieces. They're like laser cut die cuts that are already done for you. So I'll have to break those out one night so that you can see those. And then there is scrapbooking stuff as well. Again, there's another stamp set and die for the scrapbooking part. I did get that as well. It's got a lot of really good stuff in it. So, and then we have the Velvet Meadow. I did not get this one, but the paper has like this velvet texture to it. It's like bumpy and velvety, and it's kind of awesome actually. I think all I got though were the little embellishments for this one. And then we have the Moonlit Flora. Again, stamp set and dies, paper, and then there is an embossing folder for this one. And then we get into our bundles. So you'll see the same stamp sets that were in the suites, you'll see in our bundles, but then there will be added extra bundles in here, like the Safari Smiles bundle. This kind of reminds me of, what's that Disney movie? The Lion King. That's what they remind me of. But you'll see where they say that it relates to a suite on some of these. This one here, this balloon festoon, this bundle will be around for a year, just like that other suite. And then this one here, Words and Wishes bundle, this one will be around for a year as well. And you'll see other stuff in here. This is kind of a carryover, Banner Sayings bundle, the Words of Beauty bundle. This is new, Playful Packaging. That looks like it's going to be a really good thing. I did buy it. I haven't played with it yet, but we'll see. We'll check it out. And then we have our advertisement for the Stampin' Positioner. If you remember a few months ago, you could only get it if you signed up to be a demonstrator. Now it is available to everybody. And then I just saw today that they added the magnets, so you can buy the magnets separate. And then we get into just our stamp sets. So you'll see we have just some that are just by themselves, like this Get Well Soon, then the Floral Vignette, Sending Salutations. We have another animal one here. But this one here, you'll see it's part of a bundle. It'll tell you that it's part of a bundle. And then like this one, it's a bundle. It also is part of a suite. So you'll see that in here. We have a background stamp here, Nature's Frame. And then we do have a few carryover items that are in the stamp sets. This one's really, really cute. You're the Best. This one's great for like, kind of like grandparents. It's a really cute set. So we have some really good stamp sets in here. We used this one last week, a family celebration. And then this one, Thanks Man, we're going to use this one in June. Super cute stamp set for the guys. And then we get into our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with all of our dies. And then we have our embossing folders and punches. Now don't forget, we still have online exclusives, so don't think that these are the only 2 embossing folders that we have. We do have more online in the online exclusive section, so don't fret, there's more, but this is kind of like the basics. Alright, so then we get into our designer series paper. I showed you quite a few papers a few weeks ago. And then we have kind of our specialty papers. They have some shimmer papers in here that are kind of like in sets. So you'll have to look at that. And we have like two-tone cardstock that are kind of coordinating sets of two-tone cardstock. But we also sell two-tone cardstock in each color, just like we do regular cardstock. And then we get into the mix and match with the ephemera. So we have 6 different ephemera packs here. One of them is like tags, the other one is just words. These are carryovers. And then we have these other ones here that are new. And then the Everyday Essentials Mix and Match Designer Series paper. We're going to work with that a little bit tonight, but I'll show it to you. It kind of fills in the gaps with some, you know, you can just kind of use it whenever you want to. It doesn't go with a suite of products or anything. We have our memory keeping. Last week we used those journaling pens, and then we do have white gel pen now. And our embellishments, we have our adhesives. And then we get into our tools, all of our different tools, and we have our blocks and more tools. So we have our water painters, we're going to use those tonight, and the Stampin' Spritzers. We have our embossing items, and then we get into our color families. So that's a real quick overview of the layout of the catalog. So I hope that was kind of helpful. Kind of. So, alright, so I wanted to show you this. We have the Floral Spray embossing folder, and it's kind of one of those 3D, but it's huge, right? It's gigantic. So tonight I'm using a little bit of watercolor paper. So our watercolor paper comes like this. I believe this is what, 5x7? Yes, 5x7. And there's like 10 sheets in here. Now watercolor paper is really thick. It's so that it helps kind of absorb the water without ruining your paper, basically. If I were to do some like major watercoloring on our regular white paper, it would just trash the paper. It would look horrible. And then we have our water painter pens. These were the ones that we had before, I guess the company stopped making them, and then they got new ones. I think these are kind of the same, but they're water pens. So we have one that has like a thicker tip, and that's what I'm going to use tonight. This one is more of a thinner tip. And then we have this one here, which is a ginormous tip. I'm not using that one tonight. I'm just going to use this one. I do actually have a few of the ones that we had from many years ago. Remember these? We had these here. I think we got like 2 or 3 in a package of these. I still have these. These are great when you're doing a lot of mailings. Use this on the envelope instead of licking them. You can use this on the edge of the envelope to seal your envelopes. Works great. Works great. All right, and then I wanted to show you this paper. This is the Everyday Essentials paper. And I've been digging into it. Let me see what I can get out here. So we have this kind of floral piece, which I think I'm going to use this one tonight. And then the back side is like a neutral. It's got like crumb cake little tiny dots. This piece here with some, what is this? Misty Moonlight. And then we have a little bit of Lost Lagoon on the back. And then this is Darling Duckling. Kind of that gingham look. And then we have another crumb cake piece. I like it because these little corners look like they're ink splattered on them. So these could be really good for scrapbooking. And then we have this one here. One side looks like notebook paper. And then the other side we have these flowers. This piece here is very subtle. This is Bubble Bath. And there's very subtle around the edging. It looks like newspaper, but in Bubble Bath. And then the middle is plain, so this is good for scrapbooking. And then the other side is this little flower, Lost Lagoon in white. And then this is Lost Lagoon and Misty Moonlight together with some crumb cake dots on the back. So it's kind of a good paper. Kind of, like I said, fills in the gaps when you don't want to use a sweet. So anyway, so let's move on to watercoloring. So I have already taken my watercolor paper and I cut it down to like 3x4 pieces. And then I embossed with the embossing folder. And as you can see, this piece I did with the big flower kind of off to the side. This one is a little more in the middle. And then this one I went way off the side. I just got kind of those spray pieces on here. So I think I'm going to use this piece where it's kind of off to the side. And I am going to get, I have these old pieces of paper from when we used to have the Stamparatus. I like to use them though. And then I'm going to get my paper towels. Well, I'm at a loss for words right now. What is wrong with me? I've got my spritzers and my pen, my watercolor pen, and then I got out some Darling Duckling ink. I've got some Misty Moonlight, Bubble Bath, and some Lost Lagoon. So let's play a little bit. All right. So first thing I'm going to do, I know I want to use this paper here. And there's the Darling Duckling and the Bubble Bath and the Misty Moonlight and the Lost Lagoon. It's kind of got like all the colors in it. I think the only thing that this doesn't have is the crumb cake. And that's what is listed on the packaging. So I thought, well, why not? Let's try and use it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spritzer and I'm just spritzing my paper. I'm getting it wet. And then I'm going to use my water painter. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this flower, I'm going to do the Darling Duckling. I'm going to do yellow. So I'm squishing the middle of my stamp pad so that I can transfer some ink into the lid. And I'm going to take my water painter, and I'm just squeezing some water into the top here. And then I'm going to pick up some of this ink. And I'm getting it pretty juicy here. And then I'm just kind of dabbing into this flower. And right now it's kind of light because you don't want to go too dark because you can't take the color away. You can always add more, but you can't take it away. And with the water on the paper, it kind of spreads, so it gives that watercolor look. So there is that flower there in yellow. So then I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to squeeze and dab onto this paper towel until it's kind of clear so that I can reuse my painter. Alright, so I think I want to do some bubble bath, and I found that bubble bath is super light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little re-inker because it helps pick up more of the color. I don't know why, but that's how it's working. So I'm going to do these little flowers and see how that just like spreads so quickly. So I'm just dabbing that on there, adding the color. I'm going to add some more of the pink starting in the middle. I didn't add any more water, so the less water you add, the darker it's going to be, and that's why you want to start in the middle. Alright, so there is those little flowers. You know, and when you're doing this and it starts getting saturated with water, it kind of starts looking a little, I don't know, kind of crazy looking, and then you're like, oh my gosh, did I ruin it? But let it process, let it do what it needs to do, and let it dry, and then you'll see it comes out beautiful. So I'm just adding some Lost Lagoon now to these kind of leaf pieces here. And I like watercolor just because it's not so exact. Like, the water spreads and it kind of pools in there and it does all kinds of weird, crazy things, so it's not like a fine line. So it's very easy to just be so creative and blend things. Alright. So there's the Lost Lagoon, and then I think I'm just going to add a little dab of this Misty Moonlight. Just a little bit here. I think I'm going to, we have these little, I don't know what those are called, what kind of flowers those are. But we're just going to add that on there. And see how now it's kind of spreading. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to add a little blue over here. Alright. So we're just going to kind of set that aside for a few minutes while we work on the base of our card. So that's it with watercolor. Very simple. If you want me to do more watercolor in the future, let me know. I actually would love to have a class on watercolor. I think that would be fun. So let me know your thoughts on that. Alright, so I do have this piece that I cut along with the base. I did cut some Darling Duckling as kind of a layer to this piece here. So I'm going to set that aside. But I need some words, some greetings. What did I do with my stamp set? Oh, I can't find my stamp set now. Here it is, underneath everything. So I'm going to use the Scalloped Blooms stamp set. This seems to be kind of my favorite set right now. I really like the words in here. So I'm going to use a piece of watercolor paper, just a strip, and I'm going to do this thinking of you. So I'm going to get that piece out and add it to a block here. And I think I'm going to use the Misty Moonlight. And stamp on here. And with watercolor paper, I like to leave my stamp for a couple seconds so that it has time to sink into the paper. Because if you just stamp real quick, it kind of tends to not go into the paper. Ends up being really, really light. So I'm just going to give this a little snip, at an angle. All right. So this is still a little bit wet, but we're going to work with it. I'm going to use my Tombow glue. We're going to add some Tombow to the back. Oops. We got a little crazy there with the glue. Let's wipe some of that off. Spread that around. There we go. All right. Normally I would let this dry a little bit longer. As you can see, it's still pretty wet. Let me grab one of my paper towels here and blot it a little. All right. There we go. All right. So then we have our base piece, our DSP. And this just makes simple cards, and it just makes them look really, really pretty. I'm going to add some dimensionals to this one. All right, and then we are going to center that in our card. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals to this one as well. And I'm going to add that right here. Okay. And then I'm going to use these embellishments. Are called dewdrops. And so they have some clear and then blue and some green. I'm not quite sure which colors these are, but I think they go pretty good with this set, especially these clear ones. These are actually really pretty. I'm going to do some clear, and then we'll add some of the blue. And I'm going to just go ahead and add these green ones up here. There we go. Alright. So simple. If you like to, I know some people like to, they like to color. You know, we had those adult coloring books were kind of popular a few years ago. I like to watercolor. I don't do it often enough. But I did create a few other cards. So this piece is just a little bit bigger on the watercolor part. And then I did that main flower in Bubble Bath instead of the Darling Duckling. And then this one here, I did the main flower in Misty Moonlight instead. And then here I just added a little banner piece, using up some of that paper and my little thank you on there. And then here I just used a little ribbon. So super simple cards. The focal is really the watercolor portion. So I hope you like that. If you want to see more watercolor, let me know. If you'd like me to have an actual class, in-person class on watercoloring, let me know as well, and I can work something up. And that's it. So I hope you guys have a really good weekend, and I will see you back here next Thursday night. Have a good night, everyone.